That's the thing about to me about the Bible is like you might be a little intimidated initially, but when you start reading it and you develop the love for it, because it just naturally develops because you get so curious and you start seeing truths and you like even when you read this stuff and you look back at your life, you could think back at situations in your life where like, man, I did do that and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Or I could have done this and this is what would have happened. And then you start putting things together and being like, man, this really is an instruction manual on how to live in God's creation. Like God created it, so He tells you how to live in it. He tells you how He is. It tells you how He deals with people, right? Because we look at the stories. You're not looking at the story for the value of this, like for the fact that you're reading a story. You're looking back at historical events and seeing what God told people to do and how He told them to respond, how they responded, and what were the results.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, they messed up. And whoa, they paid for that one, you know? And then it's like, man, they listened to God. Look at the blessings they got. So you can see all this stuff. And that's where we get all these different scriptures where people say, well, this and that. And you're like, yeah, we're looking back and seeing what God did and what He, you know, we see His judgment. We see His wrath. We see His blessing. We see His moving His people to where He wants them to go. We see obedience. We see disobedience. You see it all. And if you actually read through it, and you go back to like Ecclesiastes, like we talked about, it says there's nothing new under the sun. When you read through, you be like, you know what? There's really nothing new under the sun. All this sexual perversion stuff now, that's not new. Stuff was going on back then. It was going on before back then. You think about people being crazy and murdering people. They were way crazier than we are.
Yeah.
They used to, I mean, David cut off Goliath's head and walked around with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine that?
Yeah, that would be wild. That's some crazy stuff to think about.
Like people hear that and read it. I'm like, bro, you imagine some dude walking around with a giant's head, probably like this big, walking around with that, carrying it?
I guess a book bag or something.
Yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff. Like people impale people on these spears, and the Assyrians were crazy.
They leave the spears up with people on it.
Yeah, they just hang there till their body rots. You got the Assyrians. They used to skin people and put their skin on the wall. Can you imagine walking to the wall of a city and just seeing human skins? That was their way of deterring people from messing with them. You know they're crazy. Like you walk up to the city walls, because you know all the cities then had walls. They would hang skins on there. I mean, we could go through all the craziness. People were crazy back. Like we think people are crazy now. People ain't crazy. You don't want no parts of some of the people that this history talks about. These people did not care. I mean, could you imagine stoning somebody?
Yeah.
You know, what painful of a death that would be, because it's hard to, like, it's easier to kill somebody by shooting them in the head or something. Like, you just die instantly. Getting stoned,
I mean, a bunch of rocks at you.
Yeah, you just keep getting hit, you fall down, like you're bloody, you know, parts of your brain get, like, it takes a while to die from getting stoned.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to do crazy things.
Yeah. Make you just.
I mean, like we talked about, crucifixion.
Yeah.
Crucifixion is known as one of the most horrible deaths ever thought of.
Yeah.
And you'd be walking into a city and there would be people just hanging on crosses. Like you'd just be walked by people hanging on the cross. That's crazy. Jesus ain't the only one that died on the cross. They were coming into and out of the cities, and you would see criminals and thieves hanging on crosses. I mean, it's like people just did stuff to people and were like, hey, you got to deal with it. You got to see death all around you and deal with it. No. So when people talk about, you know, our society's gotten so bad, I'm like,
yeah, it ain't that bad.
I'm like, you don't see bodies just laying around outside, you know. There are some crazy people alive. Now, I'm not saying that, but they ain't that crazy.
We ain't seen the worst of it.
No. So what thoughts you got on all that?
I don't even know. Just everything. I mean, it's a lot. But like you said, it's instructional. Like, it just makes you think about everything that you do and everything that goes on around you. I don't know. like it feels like it rewires your brain for some reason. Like if you can feel it, I don't know. You just feel like changing your brain.
It should.
That's how it feels.
It does. It does change you, and that's why it's important to stay in the Word. If you want to be changed from the inside out, meaning, do you want to be changed to the point where you actually act different?
Yeah.
Then you'll stay in the Word of God, because it does rewire you and it does spiritually make you something different, especially if you're obedient to it.
Yeah, true.
But it changes you, man, and you can't, like you said, that desire, the hunger to read it and find out more.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you just sit there reading thousands of pages a day. It just means that you consistently want to get in the Word and be with God and spend that time and hear from Him. Because that's what you're doing when you read the Bible, is you're hearing from God. And you want to.
Yeah.
And you love it. Because the more you hear about it, the more you know about Him, the closer you can get to Him, because you start to understand Him better. Do we understand Him fully? No. But once again, do you think you would?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's God, you're not about to understand all of Him.
Mm-mm.
But the more of Him you can grasp and start to understand, the better.
Yeah. Pardon me, understand 10% of it.
Yeah, probably not.
But
we don't, and on top of that, if you understood everything we read, this is only what's been revealed to us.
Yeah.
This is the things He thought was worth telling us. What is it that He knows that He hasn't told us?
Yeah. Guess we'll know in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Guess we'll know later.
Yeah, one day we'll know. But until then, we just trust Him and try to honor Him and do what He says. And we can't do it right and perfect, but we can gradually do a better job. And that's the whole purpose, is to gradually allow Him to control as much as you can give up.
Yeah.
And change you, like you said, change you, rewire you, make you you're already a new creation, but you can be what the Bible calls sanctified.
It makes you like, I don't even know how to describe it, like motivated, or like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. Like the feeling, it's like, it just feels like your state of being is being changed. Like you're just, as a person, you just like, I don't know, you just feel like a shift, and you just feel different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
Like I said, that's what we talked about earlier, right? You can't explain all of it.
Yeah.
You have to experience it. But that's why, like we said, these people are willing to die. We're willing to die. Yeah. Because once you feel that, and you can't explain it all the way, you can explain it to an extent. That's what it is. It's that thing that no one can take from you. It's that thing that no one can change your mind. It's that thing that is so powerful that you're willing to be like, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Because you understand that this is all that matters. This other stuff is a facade. At some level, if all this is going to burn up, then what does it even matter for at all? Yeah. Now, granted, it is a means to an end in the sense of there's different experiences we have to have, and how do we grow? Because we have to go through difficult times and good times and average times, and it teaches us how to be. But ultimately, this stuff doesn't even matter. All the stuff we worry about doesn't matter. It won't be there.
Gotta love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
But that's encouraging for us to say, the moment that you start worrying about all kinds of stuff, you can say, technically, it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
All the things you're worried about.
Yeah, it's like literally just remember, none of this stuff even matters in the first place, though. Yeah.
Definitely not the things we worry about.
Yeah, I'm on Exodus on my own.
Good.
Daily reading.
Very good.
I didn't realize how long Genesis was. Like when we read Philippians and stuff, and it's like it goes by so quick.
Oh yeah, the books were in a fast.
Exodus starts on like page 100 and some. Yeah, literally like page 100.